He ruled the department with an iron fist, often creating an atmosphere where fear was the primary motivator. What bothered Naveen most was the unpredictability of Mr. Chen's mood. One of the most painful aspects of working with Mr. Chen was his constant favoritism towards a select few employees. Mr. Chen didn't believe in listening to his employees. He believed in exerting control and asserting his authority. Welcome to Get Real with JB, where we dive deep into the stories that shape us, the experiences that leave lasting impacts, and the truths we often shy away from. Today, we are talking about something many of us have faced, yet few of us speak about openly: the toxic boss. We have all heard the stories, but what happens when the person in charge isn't just tough to work with, but is actively damaging your mental and emotional well being? How do you survive under their leadership? And when is it time to walk away for your own sanity? In today's episode, we'll hear the real life story of Naveen, a man who faced relentless cruelty from his boss until the only option left was to resign. This is a raw, honest look at how toxic leadership can break you and how finding the strength to leave may be the hardest but most important decision of your career. A small disclaimer: to protect the identities of those involved, the names in the story have been changed, but the emotions and experiences shared are 100% real. When Naveen had first joined the company 2 years ago, he had been full of optimism. The organization had seemed like the perfect place to grow, to carve out a future for himself. The office was sleek and modern, the work culture progressive, and the team dynamic was upbeat. The pay was decent, and the promise of career advancement in the marketing field felt like a dream come true. He walked in with high hopes, believing that this was the kind of place where his skills would be nurtured, where he could rise through the ranks and build a meaningful career. Mr. Chen, the head of the marketing department, was a middle-aged man in his mid-50s. On the outside, he came across as confident, experienced, and well-connected. However, Naveen quickly discovered that his boss was anything but approachable. Over time, the signs became increasingly apparent. Mr. Chen's inability to trust his team, his dismissive attitude towards feedback, and his blatant disregard for his employees' well-being. He ruled the department with an iron fist, often creating an atmosphere where fear was the primary motivator. At first, Naveen tried to adapt. He understood that every workplace had its challenges, and perhaps he could learn something from Mr. Chen's leadership style. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the environment became more unbearable. Every task, no matter how small, was scrutinized beyond reason. Naveen, a diligent worker, started to feel the weight of constant micromanagement. Nothing was ever good enough for Mr. Chen, and any attempt at a suggestion was either ignored or mocked. What bothered Naveen most was the unpredictability of Mr. Chen's mood. On some days, his boss was indifferent, barely acknowledging anyone. On others, he could be downright cruel, making cutting remarks about Naveen's work in front of the entire team. It wasn't just about the work anymore, it felt personal. Naveen had always been someone who took pride in his work, but Mr. Chen had found a way to chip away at the sense of accomplishment. One of the most painful aspects of working with Mr. Chen was his constant favoritism towards a select few employees. Naveen had always been a team player, believing that success in the workplace was a result of collaboration. However, Mr. Chen seemed to play favorites, showering praise and attention on certain team members while ignoring the rest of the group. This created a culture of unhealthy competition where employees were pitted against each other, each trying to win favor with the boss rather than work towards a common goal. The stress of dealing with this toxic environment started to take a toll on Naveen's health. He began experiencing sleepless nights, anxiety, and even a sense of dread before going into work. What was once a place of growth and opportunity had become a place of suffocating pressure. His colleagues, too, seemed to be feeling the same way. Many of them would complain about Mr. Chen's behavior, but there was a shared understanding that speaking out could lead to dire consequences. The office was filled with a palpable sense of resignation. Naveen had tried to approach Mr. Chen a couple of times with concerns, hoping that some constructive conversation might improve the situation. But every attempt at open dialogue had been shut with dismissive gestures or sarcastic comments. Mr. Chen didn't believe in listening to his employees. He believed in exerting control and asserting his authority. His lack of empathy further fueled Naveen's frustration. What made matters worse was Mr. Chen's constant undermining of Naveen's abilities. During meetings, he would often take credit for the work Naveen had done, passing off his ideas as his own. On one occasion, Naveen had worked for weeks on a comprehensive marketing strategy for an important client. The presentation went well and the client seemed impressed. However, when it came time to discuss the results with the higher-ups, Mr. Chen presented the entire strategy as though it was his idea from start to finish. Naveen felt invisible, erased, and humiliated. It was a blow to his confidence that he struggled to recover from. Over time, Naveen's performance began to dip. The constant criticism, the lack of recognition wore him down. He stopped feeling motivated to go above and beyond, and his once vibrant creativity was stifled. The spark that had driven him to excel in his career slowly extinguished. The thought of quitting crossed his mind on several occasions, but the financial stability the job provided, along with his fear of starting over, kept him rooted in place. But then came the day that changed everything. Naveen had been tasked with managing a major campaign for a new product launch. The day Naveen had been dreading for weeks had finally arrived. The product launch he had been working on for months was scheduled to take place, and this was supposed to be his moment to shine. It was a high-stakes project and Naveen had poured his heart and soul into it. He had worked late nights, coordinated with multiple teams, meticulously checked every detail and ensured everything was on track. The product was ready, the campaign was set, and the client was expecting results. When Naveen arrived at the office that morning, there was a noticeable shift in the air. His colleagues were bustling with energy, discussing last-minute preparations, but Naveen couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Mr. Chen, his boss, had been strangely quiet over the last few days. He had sent some terse emails but hadn't shown much interest in the campaign's progress. Naveen felt the familiar weight of dread as he prepared for the launch presentation later that afternoon. The campaign launch was a success, one that Naveen had meticulously crafted. The marketing strategy had generated buzz even before the launch. The client's representatives were impressed by the presentation, and the initial results showed strong engagement from the target audience. Naveen had pulled it off. His team had pulled it off. This was the culmination of months of hard work, late nights, and dedication. Yet, when the meeting with the senior management team began, the atmosphere quickly soured. Naveen was ready for feedback, even constructive criticism, but nothing prepared him for what would happen next. Mr. Chen started the meeting by briefly mentioning the campaign's results, but instead of celebrating the success, he immediately honed in on the smallest issues, details that Naveen knew were either subjective or beyond his control. The colors of the digital banners weren't exactly what Mr. Chen had envisioned in a meeting from 2 months ago. A few data points in the post-launch report seemed off by a fraction, even though they were entirely within acceptable margins. Naveen could feel his heart sinking as he braced for what came next. Without warning, Mr. Chen slammed his fist on the table, his face red with anger. "What the hell is this, Naveen?" he shouted, his voice booming across the room. "This looks like it was thrown together at the last minute. Do you even bother to listen to my suggestions? Do you think this is good enough? You are wasting everyone's time." Naveen froze, feeling his blood run cold. His colleagues shifted uncomfortable in their seats and the room grew unnervingly quiet. Mr. Chen's voice, now cutting and harsh, filled the space. "I can't believe I trusted you with this. How could you let this happen? You clearly don't care about quality. It's all just one big mess." Naveen's mind went black. He had given everything to this project, but in an instant, Mr. Chen's rage tore down everything he had worked for. There was no acknowledgement of the effort, no recognition of the success. All that mattered to Mr. Chen was his petty dissatisfaction with the smallest details that he made sure to make it known. The worst came when Mr. Chen, glaring at Naveen, sneered, "Maybe next time you'll actually do some proper work instead of pulling this half-baked garbage. You're not cut out for this, Naveen. Do you even know what you're doing?" The insult was deliberate and cruel, meant to humiliate Naveen in front of his colleagues. Mr. Chen's words were like daggers, and with each one, Naveen's chest tightened as his confidence crumbled. Naveen wanted to speak up, to defend the work he had done, to remind Mr. Chen of the countless hours he had poured into this campaign, but no words came. Every time he tried to respond, Mr. Chen cut him off with a sharp, dismissive wave of his hand. The team sat in silence, all eyes on the floor, unwilling to intervene. Then, as if to add salt to the wound, Mr. Chen turned to the team and said, "It's a miracle we are even here, but don't expect me to give credit where it's not due. Naveen should have known better than to present something like this." Naveen felt his stomach churn with embarrassment. This wasn't just feedback, it was an attack, a public execution of his worth in front of everyone he worked with. His hands began to tremble, his face burning with the sting of humiliation. How had it come to this? The reality of the situation hit him with full force. This wasn't about the campaign or the war. It was about Mr. Chen asserting control and tearing down anyone who dared to rise above. As the meeting came to a close, Naveen remained motionless, trying to keep the tears at bay. His colleagues filed out, casting sympathetic glances, but no one said a word. Naveen was left alone in the room, his mind racing, his heart shattered. He had never felt so small, so worthless. The harsh words echoed in his mind long after the meeting ended. Mr. Chen's cruelty had not only shattered his professional pride, but it had also wounded him deeply on a personal level. How could someone who claimed to be a leader treat his own team so viciously? That evening, as Naveen packed his things, the weight of the day pressed down on him. He couldn't bring himself to face another day in that office, under the constant threat of humiliation and ridicule. But even though he was physically leaving the office, the emotional scars would follow him. Naveen walked out of the building that day, his head hanging low, feeling the sting of Mr. Chen's cruelty and a deep sense of betrayal. No matter how hard he worked, how much he gave, it would never be enough for someone who saw only flaws and weaknesses. That night, as he lay in bed, the humiliation still fresh, Naveen realized something. He had been enduring this for far too long, and it was time to make a change. The job that once held promise had become a suffocating prison, and he knew deep down that it was time to walk away. The next morning, Naveen made his decision. He could no longer subject himself to this toxic environment. His resignation letter was ready, and as he handed it to HR, he felt an overwhelming sense of relief mixed with sorrow. Relief because he was finally free from the emotional burden, but sorrow because deep down he had hoped for a different outcome. He hoped that things might improve, that his hard work would eventually be recognized, or that Mr. Chen's attitude might change. But after months of constant disrespect, manipulative behavior, and gaslighting, the hope had faded. As he returned to his desk after submitting his resignation, Naveen felt the weight of the years of stress, frustration, and humiliation lift off his shoulders. The cruel comments, the constant undermining, the feeling of being invisible despite his contribution, they were all behind him now. Yet, there was a gnawing sense of unease. His decision to leave this toxic workplace wasn't a sudden whim. It had been building up for months. But now that he had taken the first step, the next chapter seemed terrifying. The lingering fear remained. What if this would follow him? Would his career ever recover from the emotional toll Mr. Chen had inflicted? No matter how much he accomplished in the future, would he always wonder whether he was truly good enough? His notice period loomed over him like a shadow. As much as he was ready to walk away from the suffocating atmosphere, he still had to endure a few more weeks in the very place that had drained him of all motivation. The days that followed were a strange mix of relief and dread. Naveen no longer felt the pressure to perform at the same level, knowing that his time in the company was limited. At the same time, he couldn't help but notice the subtle changes in how his colleagues treated him. Some seemed more distant, unsure of how to interact with someone who had quit. Others, however, seemed to take pleasure in his departure, perhaps seeing it as a moment of weakness or failure. The atmosphere was charged with a strange tension, and Naveen could feel the growing divide between himself and the rest of the office. Then there was Mr. Chen. He didn't address Naveen directly after the resignation, but the passive-aggressive behavior persisted. Naveen was no longer willing to engage with the toxic comments or the cutting remarks. He simply kept his head down and went about his work, making it clear that he was no longer invested in the petty office politics that had made his life miserable for so long. Naveen's story resonates deeply with me as it mirrors experiences I have had throughout my career in corporate India. Toxic bosses can leave scars that are more profound than we often realize. They don't just affect our work performance, they erode our self esteem and cloud our perception of our own worth. I've spent over a decade navigating corporate spaces, and I can honestly say that encountering a boss like Mr. Chen was not an anomaly. It was unfortunately an all too common reality. The level of cruelty Naveen endured is something I've seen firsthand in several workplaces. A toxic boss doesn't always show up as a tyrant who yells or intimidates outright. Sometimes it's more insidious. It's the subtle belittling comments, the constant undermining of your efforts, the expectations that shift without notice, and the emotional manipulation disguised as feedback. In Naveen's case, Mr. Chen's behavior was a slow poison, something that eats away at your sense of self-worth bit by bit until you feel completely powerless. What strikes me most is the emotional toll this type of leadership can have on employees. For someone like Naveen, who worked diligently and gave his all, it must have been exhausting to realize that no matter what he did, it would never be good enough. The constant second guessing, the self doubt, it creates a cycle of stress that takes a long time to break. I've been in similar situations, feeling the crushing weight of a leader who played the power game too well, constantly testing your limits and pushing you to question your abilities, not out of genuine concern, but out of a need to dominate. In Naveen's case, the moment he handed in his resignation, while filled with relief, wasn't a moment of triumph. It was bittersweet because, like him, I have often wished for a different outcome. There's always a part of you that wants things to improve, that wants the relationship at work to flourish, that hopes for fairness. But more often than not, leaving becomes the only way out. It's heartbreaking when a work environment, which is meant to be a space for growth, becomes one where you feel stifled, unheard, and invisible. I too have found myself in positions where I have had to work under bosses who belittled my ideas, dismissed my contributions, or even took credit for work I had done. Like Naveen, there were times when I questioned whether it was me, whether I was the problem. But what I've learned over the years is that the issue doesn't lie with us as individuals. It lies with the toxic systems and people in power who fail to lead with empathy, fairness, or respect. There's an eerie similarity in how we cope with these situations. We try to hold on to hope that things will get better, that we'll eventually prove ourselves, or that recognition will come with time. But as Naveen did, we often reach a breaking point. We realize that our peace of mind, our self-respect, and our mental health are far more valuable than a paycheck or a job title. Leaving while hard can be the first step towards reclaiming what was lost. In my own experience, the decision to leave a toxic environment wasn't easy. I grappled with the fear of being labeled as someone who couldn't hack it or wasn't cut out for the job. The stigma that comes with resigning from a role, especially under such circumstances, is often harder to shake off than the workplace toxicity itself. Yet, I eventually realized that staying in a place where I wasn't respected wasn't just detrimental to my career, it was hurting me as a person. Naveen's decision to quit was his moment of clarity, a realization that he was worth more than the abuse he had been subjected to. In the end, it's about knowing your value and choosing to walk away from what diminishes you, no matter how hard that decision might be. While Naveen's story is a painful reminder of the harsh realities of corporate India, it also offers a lesson. We cannot allow toxic work environments to define us. In the long run, we can rebuild, recover, and find spaces that nurture our growth instead of stunting it. As for me, every experience with a toxic colleague has taught me to be more resilient, to trust myself, and to never settle for less than I deserve. Naveen's story is just one of many that echoes the silent struggles of countless individuals working under toxic leaders. It's a harsh reminder of how deeply a negative work environment can affect our mental health or our self-worth and our careers. But it's also a testament to the power of resilience and the courage it takes to walk away even when it feels like the hardest thing in the world. No job, no paycheck, and no title should ever cost you your peace of mind. If you're currently facing a similar situation, remember, you deserve respect, you deserve to thrive, and most importantly, you deserve to be in an environment that nurtures your growth. So take a moment and ask yourself, are you truly where you belong? Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Get Real with JB. If Naveen's story resonated with you, or if you have your own experiences to share, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram or in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep it real.